My name is Kyle Gruppenhoff, and one of the hobbies I have is playing Dungeons and Dragons. Just a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons. It was started like in 1970s. It's a pretty old game. And it doesn't have anything to do with computers or anything like that. It's all played with pen and paper. So you can see here, I have some books from the game, and also some sheets for characters. And the basic concept behind the game is you have several people around the table like this playing, and each person has, they'll play a character, and then you have one person that plays the Dungeon Master. The Dungeon Master can create a number of different scenarios for the players to play through, like battling enemies and doing these things and collecting treasure. So basically everybody has their own character sheet. They get to create their own character of like millions of different combinations of cool things. And then we use these books. Like here you can see we have the player's handbook. Each player will have one of these, and they have just an assortment of different rules and things about the certain characters. The Dungeon Master will have Dungeon Master's Guide. This just goes through a lot of like rules and monsters and sort of things like that that Dungeon Masters can use to make dungeons. And then thirdly we have the Monster Manual, and this is for both the players and the Dungeon Master, but this mainly just has a bunch of different monsters that you can play with in the game. So these are the three main books, and then of course there's like hundreds and hundreds of more books just like this, you know, to add new things. And okay, we're just going to run through real quick like how you play Dungeons and Dragons. This is a game I've played for a long time, so I kind of know the rules pretty well. Usually I play with my friends. I don't really get to see my friends from high school too much, so you know, during the summer especially, like once a month or so, we'll get together and just play some games. So over time, I've played this game for about 8-9 years now, just off and on, so I know the rules pretty well. I'm just going to run through real quick like how to create a character, how to kind of create a dungeon, and then also like a quick combat. So one of the cool things about Dungeons and Dragons nowadays is there's a lot of stuff online you can do. So here you can see I got a dice roller, and so I'm going to go through real quick how I create a character. So we have 4 sheets here. We're not going to use all of them, but just a real quick overview. On this character sheet, so let's pick a name.
Move your arm.
We'll name our character Kyle. So that's our character's name there. Now, one of the main parts of Dungeons & Dragons for each like monster or character, everybody has 6 different abilities like strength, constitution, wisdom, sort of things. So what we can do here is we can roll dice to select these. So we can roll 4d6, which would be 4 6-sided dice, and we can roll them just by hitting this button here, and our total comes to 14. So now you can take these 4 dice and drop your lowest score, add this together, and that's one of your ability scores. So finally we can just go through, and I'll just show you how to do a quick thing here. So say normally we would play with game pieces, but sometimes you don't play with game pieces. So if we had some people standing around here, you could just do a basic fight. Maybe you have your level 1 fighter versus a skeleton. And basically how it would work is you could see, we can reset our dice here. The level 1 fighter would roll to attack the skeleton, and he adds his base attack bonus. So he rolls a 20-sided dice plus a certain number and tries to beat the armor of that skeleton. So we'll say the base attack bonus is 1. So we can roll 1 20-sided dice with a +1 base attack bonus. I rolled a 12 plus 1, that's 13. That would normally beat the armor of a skeleton. So that means he hit the skeleton and beat its armor. So well, we'll say he has a longsword. Longswords usually have a damage of d8. So you would roll an 8-sided dice that dictates how much damage you did. So you see here we have a d8. You can click roll, 4 damage. Skeletons are pretty weak, so they maybe have 3 hit points. I just dealt 4 damage. 3 minus 4 is -1. The skeleton's dead. So that's just like a basic overview of how you would do the combat in Dungeons and Dragons.
Do you prefer to use like an actual set of dice or the online roller?
This is pretty convenient because you can do a lot of dice at once. I mean, you can do as many dice as you need do by just typing the number. But there's always something to be said for just regular old dice thrown on the table.